Okay, so I was going to go to bed. I was going to finish my whiskey. I was going to jump in the shower, and then I was going to go to bed as it's 3:45 in the bloody morning. But then I made the rookie mistake, and I went onto Facebook. I figure, okay, well, got a couple of jobs, been quite quiet today. I'll just check. I'll just check, make sure there hasn't been a message that I need to respond to, or a comment that I need to respond to for work, something along those lines. So I went on there, and boom, I got news about our wonderful government, about our wonderful band of crooks. So, as I'm sure it hasn't escaped anyone's attention, this government, not Theresa May, not her government, Boris Johnson's band of merry crooks, the start of the year signed into law, international law, the withdrawal agreement. And last week they said that they were going to take a massive shit on it. That's a thing. It happened. Fan-fucking-tastic. But there was a hope that MPs would rally against this action. There was a hope. It was a small hope, and it would take conservative MPs to say no, we cannot break the law. And I'll get into the significance. Ignore the cars outside, the window's wide open, the world's just starting to wake up. I'll get into the significance of breaking the international law in a moment, but it required a number of conservative MPs to actually have a spine and say, well, this clearly isn't going to be in the best interests of the country. Did they do that? Did they fuck? So, share screen. So we can run through these things together. Right, sure. Again, I'm going to link this down below as well. I'm going to link to the New European because I'm not going to play the video of Ed Miliband. It's a good one because Keir Starmer, I also found out a couple of hours ago, is going to be self-isolating. It's my phone and I can hear another car coming. Yeah, Keir Starmer's self-isolating, so I very much doubt he's going to be at Prime Minister's Questions time. Should have shut that window. I very much doubt he's going to be at PMQs this week because he is self-isolating. So I don't know who's going to stand in for him. I don't know if someone can stand in for him. Might be Ed. I don't know. 10 to 4 in the morning. It's quite active. But I'm sure Johnson was breathing a sigh of relief, not getting spanked by a legal mind. My God, look at this. Look at this. Labour's amendment to block the United Kingdom intern market bill from receiving a second reading was defeated by 349 votes to 213, giving the government a majority of 136. There are, off the top of my head, 360 Conservative MPs. 360 something Conservative MPs. I'll put it up during the editing. So, yeah. Most Conservatives voted for this. But the reason why I couldn't just let my rage sit, why I couldn't just console myself in a nice glass, all this list of names. All right, so here are all those lovely Tories who voted to break international law. And again, I'll get into the significance in just a moment. Nigel Adams. I have no idea how to pronounce that last name. I might have had one too many whiskies. Lucy Allen, Richard Bacon. Jesus Christ. I sincerely hope you look at who your MP is and you look at this list and see if your MP voted to go against British interests and to violate an international law that we signed in. Well, Boris signed in. But here it is. Here he is. We're coming up to the E's pretty soon. Ian Duncan Smith. Who would have thought the mastermind behind Universal Credit, something that has led to an unbelievable upspike in suicides, voted for something so catastrophically disastrous? Didn't he also say the bill was so horrible, why didn't we talk about it more? What an incompetent buffoon. But here it is. Here she is, Natalie Elfrich, the Conservative MP for Dover, Deal and the surrounding villages. The woman who has spent more time this year condemning human beings fleeing death in fucking dinghies to get here and be harassed by the little dickheads from Britain first, rather than serving the actual country, has voted to violate international law. Beautiful. Beautiful. See, my God, there's so many. There is so many. I was hoping to skip down to see if there was anyone who wasn't a Conservative who voted for this, but I'm not seeing that. Elizabeth Truss. Wow. Wow. MPs to reject the bill, Tellers, Alliance Tories, Green. Okay, so that's it. There you go, stop share. So here's the thing. Here's the important thing. An international law is not just a little local law that makes the UK look bad after all. I mean, you know, putting in a policy that sees a massive rise in suicide is pretty shit, but other countries don't really give a fuck about that. But what it says to every single country on the planet when we violate an international law, a law that we signed in, Boris Johnson came up with this international... I should check myself there. Boris Johnson did not come up with this international agreement, but he's boasted. He boasted like he came up with this. And he waved it around like a fucking win. I got this, it's the best thing ever. Oven ready Brexit, blah, blah, fucking blah. This government agreed to it. An international law. There are two things. When we break it, we're saying to every single country, if you trust us, you're a fucking mug. You think we're going to do anything we've said we'll agree to? Who do you think you're talking to? Fuck you. That's what we've said to every single country. I don't care if you're a Brexiteer or if you're a Remainer. I don't give a fuck for the purpose of this conversation. What the UK has now done on a public, grand spectrum stage has just said to every single country that we are trying to get a fucking deal with, if you trust us, we're going to punch your kid in the face. Because we can. That's the message we've just sent out. So congrats to everyone who voted Conservative. That was fucking brilliant. Should I have another? No, I shouldn't have another. I've had plenty of it. Okay, so the second part is violating international law. What happens to countries who don't have much sway? And let's not make any bones about it. With the EU, we were a big dog. We're not a little dog. I wouldn't say that, but we're certainly not the big dog of Europe anymore. You know, considering we're in the worst recession in history. But what happens to countries that break international law is they get sanctioned. That's an issue. That is a big issue, folks, because here's the thing. When a country gets sanctioned, it's not Boris Johnson who's going to feel that. It's not Jacob Rees-Mogg. It's not Ian Duncan Smith or Natalie fucking Elphick. It's none of these people, because none of them have to worry if they're going to make it to the next payday. None of them have to worry if they can feed their kids or themselves, or if they can keep the lights on. None of them have to worry about losing their job and not being able to find work anywhere else. But almost every other person in this country does. And sanctions affect people like that. Sanctions affect the people of the country, not the toffs. So here it is. In case anyone has missed the translation, this is exactly what Boris Johnson has just said. Fuck you. Fuck you, and you're a dipshit for believing me. So right now, what can we do? Well, you can write to your MP and demand them explain themselves for voting the way that they did. If, like Natalie Elphick, they voted to break international law that this government signed into law after supporting that it be pushed through Parliament in 3 days. You can get your MP to demand answers. And if you haven't got a Conservative MP, I don't know. But that's where we are at 4 o'clock Wednesday morning. This government has now just agreed that it's going to break international law, and to hell with the consequences, because they're not going to fucking suffer. But hey, sovereignty.